What up? What up? What up? It's Rec League Podcast, man. Episode number 114. It's your boy, Randy Little. On this episode, we got Rocket. We got Nick. We react to a trailer or three, and then we have a first warning spoiler discussion about TheFlash. Yeah. The original plan, man, the original plan is to always be like 4 or 5 deep on the conversation, but life happens. We had 3. So if you haven't seen TheFlash, go see TheFlash and then watch the episode. Recently, theatrically, since the last episode, obviously, TheFlash came out, The Blackening came out, Elemental from Pixar came out, Extraction 2 was on Netflix. This past weekend, No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence came out. Wes Anderson's Asteroid City came out. This upcoming weekend, you got Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Finally, after they've been talking about releasing this movie for like 4 years. And then, what's it called? Ruby Gilman, Teenage Kraken. The first DreamWorks animated release I can't find reason to care about in, I don't know, over 10 years. And then the weekend of the next episode, you got Joyride, which looks hilarious. And I think like Insidious 17 comes out that weekend. On physical media, we seem to have had not the Super Mario Brothers movie that came out the week before that, but Blu-ray.com never fixed it. The Pope's Exorcist came out. It looks like Disney re-released some stuff. The Man from Toronto came out. Quantum Leap Season 1. I was interested in watching that, just never did. Sweetwater came out. This past Tuesday, Avatar: The Way of Water finally got a physical release. The Covenant from Guy Ritchie got a physical release. Ronin with Robert De Niro. I've never seen that. I've always wanted to. This upcoming Tuesday, looks like Vacation's getting a 4K. Evil Dead Rise is coming out. Supposedly Tales of the Walking Dead is getting a physical release. Amazon seems to be bullshitting me on the shipping. And then Big George Foreman is coming out. The following Tuesday, before the next episode, is July 4th. It looks like some Mission Impossibles are getting 4Ks. The Truman Show's getting a 4K. There's a Face Off re-release. Jaws 2 is getting a 4K. So, like nothing major coming to physical on the 4th of July. I mean, it's a holiday. But yeah, I'll be back. Like I said, trailer reactions and TheFlash. Spoiler discussion, man. Rec League. Back at it once again. Kind of same layout as last time. I heard something vibrate. Movie trailers, then the main topic. So we got Kraven the Hunter came out. Rocket, what you think about that Kraven trailer?
I don't know what to think. I read the comic as a kid, loved the comic, and if that's the case, how you get powers, I'm going to start just cutting like little pricks at animals and trying to get their power or some shit, because it's weird. It's like they retcon a lot of stuff from the comic, but got to adapt it. I'm interested. I'll go see it, but I don't know. As of now, from what I've seen from the trailer, I don't like how they're portraying Kraven. It's just totally different from how it was in the comics.
They Sony'd it. They found a loophole. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know the fans are out there. Both Venom movies are mid at best. Morbius is mid at best. I have no expectations higher than mid for this movie.
Yeah,
I don't get the fascination with casting Aaron Taylor Johnson. Great actor. No, nothing against him. Great fucking actor. Nocturnal Animals, Bullet Train, Kick Ass, Age of Ultron. He kills. He will kill this role. But not casting Gerard Butler like hurt me here. I've been saying
yeah,
Gerard Butler since like 2017. Uh, the trailer itself, I feel like was kind of a badass trailer until the Rhino part. They had to go full Sony. That was the Michael Keaton "What's up, Doc" moment in the Morbius trailer. Like I'm gonna rewatch this mid Spider-Man universe with no Spider-Man before this movie comes out, and I hope it's good. I like it's R-rated. Hopefully there will be some brutal kills. The Red Band trailer, he bit a nose off, Danny DeVito style. But my hopes aren't high. Nicholas.
Yeah, that's like that's how I would describe the trailer. It was like, yeah, it's another Sony. Like it looks like I don't know who if like who of the filmmakers are shared between the movies, but like it looks it's like even if you don't know, it's like yes, this is part of that Venom and Morbius like universe. Like it's its own little thing.
And
I
how do they
believe
connect it?
yeah, like he's living in that world with Morbius, but like not Spider-Man. Like at no point was I like, yes, Spider-Man is out there somewhere in this world.
But we see
But
that
like,
quick shot of him being covered in spiders.
yeah, ooh, it's like it reminded me more of Harry Potter than it did anything Spider-Man related. I was like, oh, he's in the Forbidden Forest or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But like, I will say though, and I felt the same thing with Morbius. Like as much hate as you can give something, it's like so weird. Like as a kid, I read these comics and I knew these characters. I watched them in the cartoon show. I remember Morbius on the cartoon show had hand suckers.
Yeah.
Couldn't bite. Like he had hand suckers. So I just remember being like, wow, a Morbius movie. That's crazy. And I feel the same way about this. Like I can see the old like the picture of Kraven the Hunter like standing there like with the net and like seeing the poster.
yeah.
Great. Like I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Of all the like there's a lot of posters with like the heroes or whoever sitting on the throne. Black Panther was a really good one.
Yeah.
But I was, god damn. I thought it was a fake poster when I saw it. I was like, that's fake. That's too cool. What? That's a real poster? There's skulls? Like, so like the poster got me really hyped. Like
Black
if I
Adam
see
should
that
be
thing in
ashamed.
a theater, I'm gonna be like, oh fuck. But like that's it. The poster got me more excited than the trailer. But there's a part of me that's still like, wow. Explain to like 13-year-old me that there's a Kraven the Hunter movie. They have exhausted every other thing and they're just like,
Dude,
fuck it.
it's like they're like waiting for like Madam Web or somebody who's already like a multiversal character to connect all of this shit.
Yeah, and again, explain that to me. This is Madam Web movie. What? No way. It's like the Teen Titans Go movie when they're sitting watching all the trailers. It's like Alfred, the movie. The Batmobile, the movie. And he's like, damn, they made the car before you.
I hope this movie's like Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, because you said, like Randy said, at the end of that trailer you see the Rhino. Remember, his brother's Chameleon. Are they going to give us a Chameleon look at it too? Like, is he going to be Chameleon at one point in the movie for a split second as a cameo?
Chameleon.
I mean, they could. I mean, the best thing out of, like, Nick, you hit it on the head. When the poster is better than the trailer, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Number two, the best part of that trailer that I saw was when he took the bear trap and he threw it on that guy's face. That was the best thing I saw on that trailer.
Like, I really hope they don't put out a poster with a bunch of heads. They did that with Morbius. Nobody remembers that poster, but there was like a Morbius poster with a bunch of heads. All the Venoms, they had posters that are a bunch of heads. Like,
I always
Kraven
thought,
doesn't
like,
need a poster with heads.
The
Poster was like hard as hell.
Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Morbius all have like that tight shot on the face where they're like doing the half Venom, half Tom Hardy, half vampire, half Jared Leto.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for like the Craven that's just like a close, tight Aaron Taylor Johnson. He's got like a fang showing or some stupid.
Half a lion.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the half of the line thing.
Half a drop of blood. It's like, oh yeah, he's a drop of blood.
Or he's got like war paint like scratched across his face or something.
And it's like I don't know. Maybe I'm a little hazy. Did Craven the Hunter like have powers in the comics?
He had superhuman strength. Like he had strength like Spider-Man did in a sense.
Yeah.
But besides that was it. Like
Was he bit by a lion?
I can't even remember how he even got it.
Oh.
I can't remember how he got it. But he did have super strength. I know that. And that's why, like I said, in Craven the Hunter, when he went after Spider-Man, the battles were insane. He technically killed Spider-Man, in a sense. He beat him. But at the end of the day, it's he got it from a drop of blood that landed in his eye from a lion. I'm like, what? And then he talks to animal. What is this, Dr. Doolittle? Like, I don't even know what it like. I didn't get it.
That could be him, half his face, and then half him with like a top hat. Be like, the doctor is in. It's like, fucking, are they still, like, is the goal a Sinister Six? Is that still, like, the goal?
It seems like
Yeah.
they're trying to get the Sinister Six team together first before they even introduce Spider-Man. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, it seems like for over 10 years, like Sony's wanted nothing but a Sinister Six movie.
They wanted, like, and, like, in fairness, it is like they wanted, like, their their Avengers to be that. That's kind of cool. Like, while DC is trying to figure out whatever they're doing, Sony's like, we're going to
We'll get there.
evil. But it's like they just keep not committing. And it's like, you think it's going to be, like, we're looking at, like, Venom, Morbius, Craven, Michael Keaton.
Vulture.
Yeah, Vulture, the Rhino, and like what, El Muerto?
No, that shit just got pulled.
Like,
Yep.
fuck. Well, I heard Bad Bunny left. I heard he's not doing it.
Oh,
and that's
word?
why yeah,
Really?
So they're looking to recast. I can do it.
Pedro Pascal incoming.
Yeah, they're gonna call Oscar Isaac. Be
Yeah.
like, dude, how would you like to play another one?
But
That's funny.
it's like two MCU actors are already in this movie though.
Yeah. We'll see though. I mean, like, yeah, either way, it's like I can roll my eyes. It's like I'm there. I'm gonna be seated
Yeah.
for Craven for sure. I might even like it. I don't even like. You're like, yeah, the Venoms were mid, and I'm like, yeah. And like, I'm like the only person who like I thought Morbius was fine. Like, I didn't love it, but everybody like shat on it relentlessly. It's fine. It was exactly what I expected it to be. It wasn't any worse.
That Flash second weekend drop, I've already seen clickbait headlines. It's the biggest second weekend drop since Morbius.
Year.
So it's obviously bad.
Yeah, Morbius did like 40 million its first weekend or something like that. It's like it doesn't matter. It's not the same.
No. But was Drive Away Dolls. It's not necessarily Coen Brothers, but it's one of them, and it looks good.
I had no idea what that was. It played in front of Asteroid City, and I had no idea what it was. And then the next day, the trailer was online, and I was like, "Wait, I saw this last night."
Did I get it in front of No Hard Feelings? I know I watched it on my own. I remember if I had it in the theater.
Which one is that one? Drive Away Dolls?
It's what is it? Is it Joel Coen?
Joel Coen or Ethan Coen, one of the two.
Yeah, one of the two.
I think it's Joel Coen did it, but it's like
no, it's Ethan.
Oh, we had a 50-50 shot,
right? Margaret Qualley, Geraldine Viswanathan are they're just trying to take a road trip, right? But they end up with some shit in the trunk that they didn't know about, and like criminal activity is involved. And Jonah Hill's sister, Beanie Feldstein, plays like a cop. But then like Coleman Domingo from Fear the Walking Dead is like the big boss.
Yeah.
So it looks good.
And like Matt Damon is involved somehow.
Somehow. He's always involved somehow.
Yeah. He's always in something. I'll go see it.
I can't believe I didn't see the trailer. I love
had
Call the Domingo. I was like, what?
I was like, I have no idea what it is. And it was like from Ethan Cohen. I was like, Cohen brothers Cohen?
Right.
Because there's like an Etten Cohen.
Oh no, he directed Holmes and Watson. We don't talk about him.
Just things, yeah. Did I give a shit? And I was like, wait, no, that's the different Cohen. And like, yeah, it looks funny. My Asteroid City got the most random trailers. Like, it was that, and then it was like that movie Theater Camp, which looks really funny. And then it was like Mission Impossible, Gran Turismo, some like horror thing. And I was like, God damn it! Like, who? It's like usually you get trailers that market to like whoever the crowd is.
Yeah.
I think we're excited for Gran Turismo because they're right.
Man, so like they both did Buster Scruggs on Netflix, and then Joel did the Macbeth Denzel movie on Apple, and now Ethan's doing this.
That was cool.
Kind of Baby Driver, kind of its own thing.
Yeah, like buddy road heist type movie, like Western, neo Western type. I gotta see it. I'll search it out. Hopefully, it gets like a normal movie release.
Yeah, I don't know. My theater got Last Night in Soho, and it's around the same like release window.
Yeah,
I might get lucky. And then, lastly was that Dumb Money trailer. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
I remember hearing that they were making a movie about that, and I thought, so first I was like, so soon? And then I was also like, do we give a shit about that enough to make a movie? But like all the people involved, like it's gonna be really funny.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like one of those kind of like Big Short type movies that's like really funny.
Yes.
But also shows you
how shitty rich white people are.
Yeah.
The trailer looks really good, though. The trailer does look good.
I enjoyed that trailer. Because I remember that happening, like, in real time. That was, like, 2 years ago.
I was just going to say, what was it, like 2 or 3 years ago with the GameStop? That's kind of messed up, though. That's, like I said, I'm watching it just to see how it even took effect, because the stock market, that's crazy. When you invest in stock, you want to make money. These billionaires wanted this to fail so they can make money. Like, how does that even work? Like, that's why I want to see how that even works. So
yeah, that's
my whole thing about it, is like, you invest to see things to make money. They were investing to see this thing fail. So I mean, it's interesting.
Sounds like dumb money to me.
Idiot. It looks like it comes out the same day as Drive Away Dolls.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But the theaters, though, movies like that tend to go straight to like Hulu. Like,
don't say that.
They always get like written off as like fake, but like, you know, there's like a spicy Cheeto movie out right now, and like I can't get over it.
Hot.
I want to watch it. People say it's good.
It's good. It's good. Flaming Hot is good.
Why did they make it? Why were they like, you know what's an amazing story? Whoever came up with this shit.
The hot Cheeto.
It's like, I'm way more interested in whoever came up with the Doritos taco from Taco Bell.
And I think this is
genius.
I've been hearing about this movie for like the last 4 years. And I knew it was just called, at first they didn't know what to call it. Then it was like, I heard, you know, Evelyn Gore is directing it and calling it Flamin' Hot. And I was like, what the hell is this? And then when I found out what the synopsis was and what the story was about, I was like, yeah. And I think this was in the works for like 4, maybe even 5 years.
Why? It's a passion. It's a dream project of mine to tell this story.
The janitor that added spice to the Cheeto.
Flamin' Hot Cheeto? But it's not even my favorite Cheeto. I like the jalapeno cheddar Cheeto.
Those are good.
Those are my better taste.
Those are my favorite ones. Those are my favorite ones.
Make the sequel.
I swear, if I'm eating hot Cheetos, I'm eating the baked hot Cheetos. Them motherfuckers are fire. I'm like the only person in the world who still likes baked chips.
It's not. I like baked chips. Those are good.
Hell yeah.
They even have the baked Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
That's what I just said. Them motherfuckers slap.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Maybe I'll try them. I don't.
All right,
like
so
it.
that's enough of the fat boy hour.
Yeah.
So, this is
What's
your. This right here is your spoiler warning for The Flash. If you have not seen The Flash, fuck off, go see it, and then come back and finish the episode.
Odds are you have not.
Odds are you have not.
Odds are you didn't get.
Rocket Man, start us off. What did you think about it? 'Cause, like, I know what Nick's rating is, but I don't remember hearing what your reaction was.
So going into it, I was just trying to block everything out. Some people saying this is the greatest superhero movie ever. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, Warner Brothers paid them to say that.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm thinking, well, James Gunn, all of them over there at WB have to say that. You know what I mean? This is, Ezra's last hurrah, hopefully. So I'm watching it. I gave it a 7 out of 10. It was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. Michael Keaton, seeing him back, fantastic. Sasha Calle, she needs to stay as Supergirl. She stays as Supergirl. She did a great job, I think, with that.
Reading Calle, Kaye was not what I gathered.
I've been calling her Sasha Calle.
Yes.
Sasha Calle.
Yes.
Yeah.
The white guy gets it.
Sasha Calle.
I love me some Sasha Calle.
Yeah, so she needs to continue being Supergirl. I think if they're gonna, the thing is James Gunn has been telling us this whole time, this is what's gonna reboot the DCU. I ain't get no reboot of anything.
No.
Nothing got rebooted, and also there's a couple of things like Ezra Miller. You could say what you want about him. As an actor, he was fantastic in this.
I love him carrying this movie.
He carried, I have to say. I think that's like something a lot of people agree on.
That scene when he's talking to his mom that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was just like, man.
All the feels.
Yeah, because, I mean, imagine if we were in that situation. Imagine if this was happening and we were in that, we would probably try to do the same thing.
Yeah. It's like,
and knowing that
for those who are unfamiliar with the comic lore and all that shit, there's a story called Flashpoint. Andy Muschietti, the writers, Warner Brothers, DC, they kind of dissected Flashpoint and took what they wanted, injected it into the plot. Because it's not loyal, but it has glimpses of the original story, right? Like, he discovered, apparently, in Justice League, both versions, he didn't know he could run so fast he could time travel. He goes all the way back to 2013, and he get Ben Affleck, Batman, don't do this, you could fuck everything up. Young kid obviously doesn't listen to the older veteran superhero, he fucks everything up. Apparently, within that time travel, there's some horrible CGI. Some of it looks wonky, but I'm also buying Andy Muschietti. Like, it's supposed to look distorted. Like, we've all seen at least one episode of the TV show. He time travels a lot. And when he's looking at, like, all the incursions in the multiverse, bro, like, Teddy Sears, who played the villain in season 2 of the show, swears he wasn't on set. He got that check, though. He definitely got paid for his likeness being in that movie. And then he's like Bad Flash, Black Flash, Savitar, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
Bumps Barry into 2013. There's 2 Barrys. And if I have to say, like, the writing or the plot or whatever, I think that might have been, like, the weakest aspect about it. Like, I knew younger Barry was gonna be the one to turn and be the reason for all this. And if I gotta complain about a little, like, everything Michael Keaton was dope as fuck.
Yep.
He looked clunky in the suit, though. He looked a little uncomfortable in that suit.
He's got an uncomfortable suit. Can't move his neck.
That's
Nope.
true. But yeah, the Supergirl stuff was dope. The whole story was dope, man. Like when, yeah, like you're hype. Your dad's out of jail. Your mom's alive. And then like I don't know. I don't want to speak for my wife, but it's like when he moved all the tomatoes to the higher shelf, I was like, that's not gonna, like, something's gonna change. And then it's like I'm seeing other reviews with people trying to use the word like convoluted and shit. Like everybody's go-to word when they just didn't want to like the movie, so they just that's the go-to word. And then you got the post credits. You got George Clooney, which cool laugh. We won't see him again. Like he got paid and popped in, and he won't be in another DC.
And I think they messed up on that part.
Yeah,
they messed up on that part.
Like, because if that would have been Michael Keaton, and Barry thought he was dead, just one more emotional moment to hit home.
Yeah.
And then everybody's bitching about how they marveled that post credit scene. It's useless, but Jason Momoa, they just used Aquaman to be a big drunk and fall and get drunk, pass out in a puddle. Bro, did Aquaman not drink in previous movies we've seen him in? Like it's right there. It's not new for the character. Like,
no,
we've known this about this Arthur Curry. Likes his yak. Right?
And my thing is this, though, too, is with the post-credit scenes, and if you think about it, when he's towards the end, when he's seeing those incursions with all the worlds colliding, you get the Christopher Reeve, Helen Slater, Superman, Supergirl. You got the original George Reeves in black and white, which was dope.
Yeah, all that shit was cool.
And then like the John Schnepp documentary he was doing, you know, when Nicolas Cage popped up, I knew what that meant. Not many people did.
No, my dad had no idea.
With the mechanical spider?
The mechanical spider, yeah. But also, I think WB, you know, Warner Bros. Messed this up because if you think about it,
that's what they do.
Let's go back to Michael Keaton. He was Batman in the first two. He was going to do three. Things fell apart. They brought in Val Kilmer. After Val Kilmer, which did a decent job, then Clooney was hot at the time with ER and all this other stuff. They brought in Clooney. If you think about it, that's technically still Michael Keaton's character. It just got recasted. So now you're telling me at the end that Val Kilmer's Batman and Clooney's Batman now were two separate. They were three different Batmans in this world. Like, that makes no sense.
You're gonna give me a headache.
That's where they messed up, because that's what confused me. And I was telling my wife and my nephew at the same time, but I'm like, bro, they messed up because technically it's like Randy's playing and he's acting in a movie for two parts of it, the first two movies. Then they cast Nick because contract negotiations didn't work out with Randy.
I want my bag.
And then Nick has a scheduling conflict for the fourth one, and they cast me. Still, we're playing the same character in the same timeline. It's just different recasting. So when they brought George Clooney back, I was happy to see him like on the screen. But I'm thinking, hold up, this is still Michael Keaton's Batman. And then for them to... That's number one, but then number two...
It was Affleck's car, though, bro. Like, it was Affleck's car. Like, they thought they were being so clever. I was just like, this isn't Affleck.
No. And then the other thing is this, is you see the worlds colliding, and they only kept on showing was Superman. Then they showed Teddy Sears. How do you show one Flash in a world...
And it's not even Barry Allen.
It's not even Barry Allen. And not only that, give me a Grant Gustin and give me a John Wesley Shipp. Wesley Shipp started this off. You can't get those guys on for... Ted Sears wasn't even on for 5 seconds on the film. You can't give these guys 5 seconds of their own time. I mean, it's funny how this is Flashpoint. It's about Flash, and you see one Flash out of that whole thing.
And if Teddy Sears literally wasn't on set, they could have pulled archive footage for them other two guys.
Yep. I mean, come on. That's what they did in Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have done that. That would have been great. Give me something. Because how do you bring Ezra Miller into the TV world of Flash and did that great scene? I'm thinking, great, when the movie comes out, great, it's going to pay off. Why do it then?
Yep.
Like, I felt like there was a lot more questions than answers resolved. And like I said, this was supposed to reboot. It rebooted nothing.
Nope.
It rebooted nothing. And it would have been cool to see if at the end, like all this, when he's at court, if, you know, the new, if say, the person who's going to be playing, because I'll tell you this right now, James Gunn knows who Superman is already. It's been probably
For sure.
cast that they already know.
It's dude from Pearl. It's dude from Pearl.
Yeah, it would have been cool if that Superman would have showed up and he would have, what the hell is this? And that's your new Superman. That's the way to kick it off and reboot it. Not do all these, you know, have everybody in the movie and then George Clooney, who, hey, like I said, is the same character as Michael Keaton, just recast it. And then, like you said, Momoa, that makes no sense. Also, they screwed up in the sense of they should have just waited. Shazam was Dead Man Walking, Flash. Aquaman 2 is going to probably make the most out of all these DCEU movies. And it's not even going to come close to making $1 billion like it did the first time.
No.
If it makes $400 million, it's a lot because they should have just waited.
Oh, shit.
They should have just waited it out. All right, Gunn and Safran are running this. Great. You could have your plan. You could say these movies are coming out. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Just let these movies make as much money as possible. Right now, by you telling us this, normies are going to be like, if they were even interested in the other ones, oh, well, they're starting over again. Why watch them? I'll just watch it when it comes out on Max or whatever the hell it is. And, like, we're going to go see it because we love movies. But at the end of the day, this is The Flash. This movie's been hyped up and all that. And we went to a 9:30 showing, and there was barely anybody in the theater.
Yeah,
because
with my trans opening night than my Flash opening night, which is kind of sad, but it was true. And it wasn't a lot of woohoos and yeehaws. Like I got one woo when Michael Keaton showed up. It was one dude went woo, and it was like, and like all that shit with the fake cameos, it was dead silent. Like I was like, that's what made me think. The more I think about that, like I gave it a pretty decent like rating. I didn't love it, but like I liked it. I was entertained. But like the more I think about that, the more I was like, it's just like empty fan service. They were like, yes, insert thing that's gonna make everybody clap, and like it just didn't happen. Like I was kind of embarrassed. Like I was like, oof.
The biggest pop I got was out there, and it wasn't even a pop. It was just like you could hear people like gasping, and you could sense it, like they were excited. Was when they saw Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater.
I got nothing. Only really was George Clooney got a lot of laughs.
Yeah,
everybody started laughing. Oh man, it was just like I thought that was funny. Like I was like, yeah, that's a cute joke. Like that's funny, but it wasn't anything more to me than like fucked up. He's got to go fix it again. It wasn't like, oh, and there's people, you go on Twitter and there's people like, so George Clooney is Batman now? It's like, you know, George Clooney is not Batman again. Like that was just a joke. Like he changed the tomatoes and it was enough to fuck up the timeline again. And if there's a Flash 2, that will fix itself somehow. There will not be a...
Affleck told him, you step on the wrong blade of grass, you don't know what you're going to change.
Yeah. That's all he did, too. Like, that was another kind of like, man, there were a lot of things that I would have bet money were going to happen. I thought for sure, like, he was going to do something, like, go back in time to, like, do something with his mother, then go back to his time and be like, I did it. And they'd be like, what'd you do? And he'd be like, I did. You know, I fixed things. And then, like, Zod would attack in present day or something like that. And I would have bet money that Ben Affleck was going to die. I would have bet a whole paycheck. I was like, this is Ben Affleck's last hurrah. He's going to die trying to stop Zod. That's what all the trailers made it look like. That and Zod were happening at the same time. I was like, it's going to kill him because there's no Superman. So he is going to be like, I've got to do this, Barry. And then he's going to die. Then Barry is going to go to try to fix that. And that's where he's going to jump into a universe where there's a Michael Keaton Batman. I would have thought all that was going to be like him universe jumping. And that didn't really happen. He went to one. He just went back to 2013 where Michael Keaton was Batman for some reason. And it was like not much explanation. Yeah. So it was like, is this the world of the Tim Burton movies? They really don't say.
No.
Or like, is this just, he did the whole spaghetti. And I'm like, is this just a strand of spaghetti where he is also Batman, but then also with Ezra Miller and that General Zod and Supergirl? Or is this Tim Burton's world?
We're going to break, and then I'm going to come back with my thoughts on that. All right. Nick just reminded me what he said because I forgot when we was on break. But I don't like... Everybody loses their mind. Michael Keaton is the best thing about this movie. Hands down. My logic is that he's not the exact same Tim Burton version of Bruce Wayne and Batman. It's like y'all was saying, like the spaghetti shit. But Wayne Manor is the same from the 89 movie. And even that kitchen looks like where they were chopping it up with Vicky Vale. There I was. A young Master Wayne, covered in mud, like a sack of old potatoes.
You also got to remember, too, is, like you said, Randy, you don't think he's the same one from, like, the Tim Burton one. But also, as time goes on, we as people change, you know? Like, I'm a lot different when I was 25 than I am what I am now, to a degree. Also, one other thing. When was TheFlash ever part Latin? You would think I would know. I'm Latino. I would know if he's part Latin. When his mom started dancing salsa in the kitchen and speaking Spanish, I was like, what?
Rocket was in that motherfucker like,
I'm like, I never read this in the comics. What's going on? Like, I understand that you want to, give it a twist, do something different, but I don't know. That threw me off a little bit. So it's because he's always been portrayed, whether it's in the different other versions of the TV show or whenever he is thrown on screen as a Flash, whether if it's one person playing it for 5 minutes or not, it's always the same thing. Reverse Flash kills his mom. Dad's getting accused of killing. It's always like that's that. But going in depth, I never knew, or they threw a twist in it that his mom is now Latin Spanish, and is that it's just that kind of threw me off a bit too. I just think, like I was telling Nick off camera, I just wish they would have tightened it up a little bit. If they would have tightened it up a little bit more, I think this would have been a better movie.
There's no reason why a Flashpoint movie shouldn't be like an all-timer superhero. But they slept on it for years. They let Marvel beat them to the whole multiverse thing. Now it's like, oh, we finally got it off the ground, and we're putting it out a week after.
And Sony and A24, everybody beat DC to the multiverse movie.
Every movie is doing it now, and it's like Flashpoint should have been the movie to do it.
Yeah,
and they could have followed. It's like you had Jeffrey Dean Morgan play Bruce.
Zack Snyder set this shit up 7 years ago.
That writes itself. Like
Lauren Cohan is Joker.
Like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yep.
Yeah. That shit could have written itself. He could have time jumped and done a little of that, done a little Michael Keaton. You could have done all of this. And all we really got was like the thing in the end with the soulless CGI faces. As I said, like, I wasn't hyped. Like, I was just like, it's going to be Christopher Reeve. Yeah, it's Christopher Reeve. That's cool.
What's funny is somebody put something on Twitter. I started laughing. In Man of Steel, Zod comes down. They're all from Krypton. All these people are from Krypton. And Superman is probably the being. I don't care if it's Marvel, DC, he is the man. and he's having a hell of a fight with Zod and all that.
The Superman.
But Keaton jumps on him and he's beating the shit out of that thing. I was like, huh? That was kind of funny.
Yeah, and I was thinking of What If, the way like they kept going back in time trying to save Batman and Supergirl. And I was just like, man, it's like the Doctor Strange episode. No matter what they do, those two have to die.
Have to die. That's a fixed point.
Yep.
That's fucked. Like, and they're coming out now saying Warner Brothers were really interested in a Batman Beyond movie with Michael Keaton. It's like, why? Why would they have been interested in that? He died in this one, according to them. It doesn't make any sense. It's like they don't know what they're doing. And it's like because it's like you can like there's nobody in charge. There is now. And it's like hopefully maybe, but it's like whoever like they were like read my Flash script. They're like, yeah, this kicks ass. Do it. It's like, no, you read it and be like, this should have been like if a movie was going to like world build in the DCEU, which they have not been doing for like years. It should have been this one. It should have been this one to be like establish where we are,
dude, like
how everything plays a part. And it's like, no,
that's what we've said time and time again on this podcast. Zack Snyder, say what you want about his 3 movies. He was building a shared universe. David Ayer made Suicide Squad coordinating with Snyder. Patty Jenkins made the original Wonder Woman coordinating with Snyder. James Wan, hey, don't go too deep into Atlantis. I want Atlantis to be present in the Aquaman movie, coordinating with Snyder. And then after Aquaman, it was just like, fuck it, throw a dart. Whatever you hit gets a movie.
Shazam, the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, none of that feels like it's a part of this. It just doesn't. The Suicide Squad barely feels like it's connected to the first Suicide Squad. That's only because they got some of the actors.
Yeah.
It's better. Like I said, like Shazam, I loved Shazam.
Yeah.
Shazam, like the term breath of fresh air gets overused so much and I hate it. But like that's what Shazam was to me. It was like, oh, this was so good. I'm so glad that this was fun and entertaining. Like, oh my God, it wasn't like dark and broody. It was great. I loved it. And I kind of felt the same way about Birds of Prey. I was like, these movies are great and they're fun. But like, none of them felt like, how'd you have Birds of Prey and it's like about Harley Quinn and it's like Jared Leto's not in it at all. In it. And Ben Affleck is not in whatsoever.
Yeah, dude, bro. Like you have a movie set in Gotham City, and there's no sign of Batman.
Yeah,
what?
It's like people just want cameos. It's like, yeah, some people are very annoying, and you can pick them out very easily when you just scroll Twitter. You're like, oh yeah, there he is. But it's like it's certain things. It's like it's a movie about Harley Quinn being dumped by the Joker. Why wouldn't the Joker have been?
Exactly.
Like, people would have been confused. Well, we just saw Joaquin Phoenix. Hey, is it not Joaquin Phoenix? It's like, well, that's on y'all. Like,
yeah,
you greenlight these movies. You know, the average normie isn't going to go see TheFlash because they just saw Robert Pattinson do this last year. And they are like, my mom has no idea why Robert Pattinson isn't in TheFlash. And she's not dumb to the shit, but she's just like, you know, it's too much. There's 2 Batmans in this movie, and neither one of them were the guy from last year. It's like, no.
I wouldn't even have hated him getting out of that car at the end.
Apparently, they asked, like, I think Kevin Smith said that they begged Christian Bale to do it, and
they did.
Not without.
That would have been pretty. Like, that would have got applause.
Yeah.
It would have meant nothing, just like it means nothing now. But it would have gotten like eruptions, I think.
Yeah, bro. How many people work at Warner Brothers? How many people work specifically in DC studios? And nobody brought up what Rocky was saying. Well, technically, George Clooney and Michael Keaton are the exact same character. It's like trying to have Eric Bana and Edward Norton, or not Eric Bana, but Edward Norton and Mark Ruffalo in the same scene. Yeah. They're literally the same character.
It was cute. Like, I thought it was a joke that worked, but I took it as nothing more than that. But there are people that are like freaking. So we're in the world of Batman and Robin now? It's like, no, probably not.
No,
if you expand, it's like, no, another strand of spaghetti.
No, idiot. It's like,
but it's like
Ben Affleck. That's the thing. Like, Ben Affleck gave him the Wayne Tech footage to try to help out his dad. Did the thing with tomatoes. His dad gets out of jail. George Clooney rolls up. Basically, George Clooney became Ben Affleck, but it's still Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
But it has nothing to do with the original 4 Batman movies.
Yeah, I would have been even happier to see, and I love George Clooney, Val Kilmer. They could have Top Gun Maverick there. He could have gotten out. You could have had Ezra Miller be like, "Who's this?" and just have Val Kilmer not say anything, just be like this. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, and that would have been it. I mean, he didn't have to speak. You know, I mean, it's just, even with this movie, and I like Andy Muschietti. You know, he did the It movies and all that. He did Mama. You know, at the end of the day, I like what he was trying to do, but that's what I'm saying. It's still a bit of a mess. Not much, but just enough. Just enough.
So I had fun. I rated it higher than you guys. I had fun and I enjoyed it. I was geeked. That first like introduction scene where he was waiting on his order, but the barista chick wasn't there. So the dude's talking. And he goes and that's probably the biggest annoyance with me in this movie. That "I need you here now, Barry." That was not Ben Affleck. That voice was not Affleck. But that whole like communicating with Alfred, "I'm basically the janitor of the Justice League." That whole sequence was fun. I was geeking out.
He was cooking baby.
Yeah.
It was a lot of weird humor, which I kind of appreciated. I was like, there's a lot of superhero movies like go for jokes, and a lot of them don't really land because they're not that funny. And like this one, it's like maybe some of the jokes landed, some of them didn't, or whatever. But most of the humor in this movie was weird. And I was like, I kind of appreciate that it was like he went to 2013 and that kid got his powers. And it wasn't that he just did it. He like wound up naked, and there was like the fire hydrant was going off, and there were like instruments for some reason. Like it was like Looney Tunes. And I was like, I don't know if I laughed, but I was like, I kind of appreciate that they went really weird with it.
when he phased into the like downstairs neighbor's crib, I laughed.
Yeah, it was funny. And like, he went and cleaned up his apartment and all the shit fell out of the door.
I laughed at that.
Funny. I'm laughing. And like the babies.
Kiersey Clemons was criminally underused.
Yeah. I know she thought she was signing on to have like this major role in this franchise.
Like to be like the Candace Patton of the movies.
Yeah. But going back to Supergirl. What's her name?
Sasha Calle.
First off, nobody, and like, I'm just gonna say, she is hot. This woman is hot. Like The Office, this woman is hot. Oh my God. So they did a really good job. We're like, Supergirl is supposed to be blonde. Supergirl is supposed to do this. She's supposed to look like this. I was like, consider though, they got like the hottest human being I've ever seen to play Supergirl. So like, that I was already on board, and I saw the picture of the costume. The costume was so sick, all the little details.
Yeah,
great on her. I was like, dude, I'm all in on this. I don't even care what she does. To me, she was kind of underutilized because everything she did, kicked ass. She was awesome. Like as soon as she showed up, because I was thinking, I had that head, starts going to like, what if it's this? What if it's this? They're gonna go save Superman. What if it's this? What if it's this? And then I realized, I was like, oh, it's going to be Supergirl in there.
Yeah. But my stupid ass heard Russia and was like, oh, they're going to do like Red Sun with Supergirl. But then like, I was thinking about like the way she was positioned and all that shit, thinking about the Flashpoint Paradox movie. And I was like, no, this is just like, Superman didn't land in Kansas, so he became a science experiment.
Yeah. And then once it was her, I was like, oh yeah, it's her. But then immediately I was like, oh, she rules. She's awesome. And I feel like they underutilized her a bit. They put her more in the marketing than she was in the movie.
Agreed.
My dad, who like loves these, I always go see these kind of movies with my dad because he loves superhero movies, but he's not quite as like up to date on all the behind the scenes drama. Like he's not on Twitter. And so even that was his biggest complaint.
Maybe he should be.
But he was like, it's like they're going out of their way to not put Henry Cavill in these movies. Like, what did he do? And I was like, you all right, sir?
And the funny thing, Nick, you get it on the head too. Is look, Gunn says new DCU coming out, reboot this, reboot that. But funny, you got Viola Davis as Amanda Waller still coming in. So that's number one. You're keeping supposedly Gal Gadot for Wonder Woman 3 at some point down the road. Not the one that they were going to do, but she's still on. We don't know what's up with Momoa. Everybody's speculating Lobo, but from what the signs I'm getting is he going to play two characters in the DCU, Aquaman, and that? Because I agree, Andy. Why? I have no idea.
Why?
But at the end of the day, though, is if you're going to reboot, clean slate.
Yeah.
You just clean it out.
Yeah.
Don't pick and choose. Because right now, even Peacemaker is part of the DCEU with that post-credit scene. But yet, his characters that he created are still in his world, which is cool. But then if that's the case, you got to bring back these characters. I agree. You're bringing back most of these except Affleck and Cavill. And the funny thing is I feel like Ben Affleck, he said he was out for a while. We already knew that. I feel like if he was doing a new Batman movie, like called Batman Legacy, not Superman Legacy, say Batman Legacy, and doing that, I feel people would be a little bit more accepting to it than Cavill not being Superman. I don't know. It could go both ways.
A reboot being called Superman Legacy is dumb.
Yeah. I feel like not having Cap, because I guess Cavill was supposed to be in the beginning of the movie and then towards the end. And then he was like you say, Keaton, they scrapped the Batgirl movie. He was supposed to be in that. Keaton was supposed to have a bigger role in this world going forward until Gunn took over. Yeah. I understand if you're going to reboot, you reboot it all the way. And like we were talking earlier, Randy said it, you said it, Nick, as well. You're telling me Blue Beetle is going to be the first character in DCU, but not the first movie to kick it off when you had nothing to do with the project.
It makes
I don't
no
understand.
Sense. It makes no sense. I feel like
they're like, you got a clean slate. So the way he's gonna fire his wife? No, like that's not gonna happen, and I don't want it to happen. Like
I think she's great.
Yeah,
that show. I think the stuff that they did, as kind of clearly kind of dumb and shot as it was, having them at the end of Shazam: Fury of the Gods was something. I was like, at least it's like they're attempting to connect it to something that's coming next.
Yeah,
which is more than what Black Adam fucking did. I was like, it's something, but they weren't in this.
So I think
I was like, is it gonna matter?
I like James Gunn as a director. All
Absolutely.
3 of his Guardians movies are peak comic book movie cinema. I think his Superman movie will be great.
I agree.
I think as like a studio head or whatever his official title is, I don't think he's going to do much different than the last 10 years of DC movies. He's already announced all these obscure titles getting movies or shows or whatever the fuck. James Mangold directing Swamp Thing is money. I love it. And I think his shit will be better connected than the last 10 years. But I also think it's going to be like just what he wants to do. I don't think we're going to get Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, all these motherfuckers building up into a Justice League payoff.
The only thing I'm hoping is that all of this conversation going around about superhero fatigue. I'm like, it's not necessarily superhero movie fatigue. It's just like, I understand fully why somebody would see a trailer or the poster for TheFlash and just be like,
I'm good.
I told you about when I went and saw, I think it was Operation Fortune, and the Shazam trailer started playing. This old lady went, "TheFlash," to whoever she was. And I was like, I get it. I'm making fun of you in my head, but I get it. You look at the posters, it's the same fucking thing to somebody who doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's like some asshole in a red suit with a lightning bolt on his chest. That just came out.
He literally says that in the trailer.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, I'm not like, it has gotten to the point where me, who goes and sees all of this bullshit, I'm like, I get it. I kind of get where the normies are coming from on this.
But right now,
my hope, think about it.
On the
go ahead, Nick.
I'm just saying, like, my hope is like he announced a lot of these kind of obscure titles, and I'm
like
thinking
Creature
like
Commandos.
Yeah, like maybe in that couple years, it's like we won't get as much. It's like we get one Superman movie, and we're getting like no Wonder Woman. We're getting no Harley Quinn. We're getting like one Batman thing. It's like hopefully that kind of like makes it breathe a little bit, so we're more excited when those characters do show up. But I'm probably wishful thinking.
But it's like also, do the villains and the anti-heroes like need their own movies?
No. Sony.
No. It's like, dude, like, I'm sorry. James Gunn needs to copy the MCU Phase 1 blueprint. Give us Superman. Give us Batman. Give us Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, Martian fucking Manhunter. Then give us Justice League.
That's what they should have done. And they spent so much time it's like Zack Snyder had like an idea of where he wanted it to go, like how he would do it. He did not have that idea when Man of Steel came out.
No.
I would say that court of law. I'd say there's no proof that this was supposed to connect to a bigger thing.
In 2013, Henry Lennox was not Martian Manhunter.
No. Fine. It's fine. Just admit it. It's like, I want you to admit it. It took them 3 years to put out Batman vs. Superman. They announced it super quick. But it took 3 years for it to come out because that was not the plan.
Yeah.
But he did spend that 3 years coming up with a semblance of a plan. But it was like the powers that be, it was like they didn't want to make it look like they were copying Marvel, like they were riding the coattails.
Yeah.
And in doing that, they fumbled it like
so
at
bad.
every turn. It was like, dude, we all think you're copying Marvel. No matter what you do, you are. Like, Marvel already did it. Marvel could have stopped after the Avengers.
Yep.
They did it. They did Iron Man 2, the Hulk, Thor, Captain America, the Avengers. They could have been like, we did it. We're done.
Worked.
Fuck you. And it worked.
They don't have copyright on building a universe.
Nope.
Just copy. Just do what they did.
That's like, we just want you to do it well.
Instead of making Suicide Squad the third movie in your universe.
I don't even hate that. I was so excited for the Suicide Squad, but it was so blatantly obvious that it was like they saw what happened with Batman versus Superman and panicked. They were like, we have to make this more like Guardians of the Galaxy. We have to make this more like cool. We have to make this like weird and funny. There have to be countless needle drops. The first 20 minutes of the movie have to just be introducing the characters one by one. It's like, oh no.
And if you think about it too, Nick, you hit it on the head. You know, as a director, James Gunn is fantastic. I mean, look at the movie Slither. You know, it's like any movie he does is pretty dope. You know, he has his friends like Nathan Fillion and all that. They bring him in. I get all that. Now I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Let's say Gunngate don't happen with those tweets, and he's still in the MCU. Remember, Kevin Feige was grooming him to be his right-hand man, and he was going to take care of the Cosmo, basically, section of that, like outer space stuff with Doctor Strange. Imagine if that would have happened, how much different the MCU multiverse would have looked. Because that's James Gunn's forte, weirdness, the unique, quirky stuff. I think the MCU, and that's the problem is, you know, we're saying, you know, the DCEU this and Warner Bros. A mess. But look, we were just talking about it. When Iron Man first came out, Kevin Feige even said he had an idea, not a plan. He had an idea of what it might look like.
Good idea.
It molded.
When you go watch the old movies, it doesn't look like we are committed to like a 20-year plan.
Exactly.
We're gonna have him show up at the end of the law.
That one scene of Tony Stark in the bar with William Hurt, that could have been filmed like May of 2008 after Iron Man came out the gate.
Yeah.
I wasn't like positive that was happening until I saw the movie in the theater, and I was like, oh, they're cooking, they're doing it.
And the crazy thing about it is that, for the multiverse, they were trying to get Ed Norton back. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do it.
Nah.
And that's okay. We're okay.
Yeah, but also, it's like you said, it was these movies in the MCU in the beginning phases. It was connected, but it was still a standalone movie. Like literally, throughout the Infinity Saga, you could jump into any movie and not feel lost.
Yeah.
Not feel lost. Now, for the most part, yeah. Now, look what happens when you have no plan. Even though you think you have a plan, look at Phase 4. What is it even leading to?
I don't want to.
It's all over the place. Like, Iron Man started off
being a defender.
And they gradually started building up to the saga. Like, this was going somewhere. The Stage 4, they're saying that, the Kang Dynasty and all this, we'll see if that even happens. But, okay, it's leading up to that. But what does it tell me? What does it show in these movies that it's leading up to? Like, it's all over the damn place. And I feel like that's what happened with the DCEU. These movies just are all over the place. Yeah. And the best ones are, like, to me, in my opinion, is Man of Steel. It's its own movie. The first Wonder Woman, it's its own thing. Aquaman, which was a ton of fun, own thing. Even the first Shazam movie. The first Shazam was its own thing. Yeah. Everything else is trying to connect to this and cross over with that. Where is this leading to? What is it leading to?
And even this, they market it, like they hyped it up, like this was the beginning of some worlds collide, bitch. And it was like, they really didn't. They literally didn't. We saw it not happen. Like, he was like, look what you're doing. And then it didn't happen. So it was like, okay. It's like, it led to Wonder Woman 1984. I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. But if I had like a big thing with it, was just like, I was like, okay, yeah, you had to make another Wonder Woman movie. Of course you did. You had to capitalize on how much people love this. It was just a sequel. It didn't allude to anything. It didn't really make sense in the grand picture that, like, it was a whole thing. Like, let's say the Snyder Cut doesn't exist, which it doesn't. It's just, it's its own thing. Let's say it doesn't exist, and the theatrical Justice League is still canon.
Still canon. Trash.
There's the whole thing with Bruce Wayne, like, yelling at her, and he's like, you're this beacon of light, and I've never heard of you, and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, you didn't hear about all that crazy shit that happened in 1984? Like, that was massive. That was huge. You weren't around for that? You would have been like 10 or 20. It doesn't make any sense. Like I said, like, every movie is individual, where it's like Marvel's kind of doing that now. But I still have this sense, like, where I feel like they've earned that. Like, that's why I'm a little less, everybody's sticking their nose up at, like, recent MCU stuff, and I'm still a little less picky. I'm like, look, they got to the first Avengers, then they got to Age of Ultron, then they got to Endgame with, like, no fumbles. I'm sorry. Like, they're, like, nothing. Like, all of those movies are good. I'm sorry. So I'm like, they're allowed to do whatever they want now, in my opinion. I don't really need them to get to the Kang Dynasty. I'd like to see what they're doing, but they gave me Guardians 3 this year. It was a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. And I saw that second time, I was like, there is no way The Flash is as good as that. There's no fucking way.
It wasn't.
And it wasn't.
And it
was
wasn't.
not.
Guardians is my number 2 movie this year. Flash isn't in my top 10.
Nope.
It's like 11.
I liked Shazam more than Flash. If I'm being brutally, bluntly honest, Shazam got me, like, the emotional stuff in Shazam got me. I was like, oh. And I was like, that was as good as the emotional stuff in The Flash.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What,
I'm throwing my hand.
I don't hate. Like, I have Wonder Woman 1984 as like a bottom 4 in the whole universe.
Yeah.
I still like it, but what bothers me about Wonder Woman 1984 goes back to Batman v Superman. Since World War One, I just haven't been in battle. I haven't fought. I just been like living life, looking fine. But I have, which means in 1984 she didn't fight nobody. But we have a movie saying she did.
Yep.
There was like a world-altering event in 1984 where, like, what the fuck? Like, everybody's wishes were coming true or whatever the fuck, and there was a cheetah, and it was like, nobody remembers this?
Which, if they were gonna do like Injustice League or whatever, like Eisenberg was saying, Cheetah gonna be like 60 years old in that motherfucker.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. I don't know. It's just like every movie is like individual, and like maybe that's where we give credit to The Rock a little. Black Adam was not great. I didn't love it, and like I don't love his kind of like hierarchical, like coming in and trying to run everything that he touches. There was kind of an attempt to like establish itself within that world. It didn't really, do anything going forward. It was just like we got to put Superman in it, and it was like, why? Who cares? And people will lose their mind. But why? What does that mean? Shut up. And it was just like that. But it was still kind of like Black Adam exists because of the Shazam powers and all that shit. Mm-hmm. Here is Viola Davis, and here is Superman.
I can't imagine a DC universe where he was gonna like get his Vin Diesel on and try to reroute the whole DC universe around Black Adam and Superman.
Nobody, it doesn't make any sense.
And to piggyback off of you, Nick, let's just say, in a multiverse way, in our world, Black Adam didn't even make 400 million. It made like 393 or something like that. But let's say it made 750, 800 million. James Gunn, what now? Because that's a successful movie.
Not my team, not my coach. I'm going back to Fast X.
But the thing is, this is also because say it does hit those marks money-wise, does it become now when the Snyderverse or kind of Snyderverse, does that become an Elseworld thing now? Because remember, he has Elseworld projects in the Joker and the Batman. Does now the Black Adam universe fall into that? Because remember, money talks, bullshit walks. At the end of the day, it's bottom line.
That's a lot of bullshit. We'll start walking.
Shit. And
a lot of walking.
And if that movie would have made 800 million plus, remember the plan was never to bring back Henry Cavill. They brought him back. What happens now?
No shit.
What happens now? Because in Gunn's mind, that wasn't supposed to, we already know what the deal is. Now, do they keep his cameo in The Flash? Do they keep, his cameos wherever he was supposed to be at? Because that just changes the whole dynamic if this movie is successful. I think Black Adam, it's one of those movies you turn your brain off and enjoy for what it is. It's a fun movie, whatever. I enjoyed it. But I think also hearing that, he was going to change, the hierarchy of the DCEU and all this other stuff. At the end of the day is Black Adam is associated with just Shazam.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it. And Superman helps Shazam here and there, but has nothing to do with Wonder Woman or Batman or anybody else. Like, I don't know. I understand what he was trying to do. And like you said, Nick, I give him some credit because he was trying to do something to connect it all. But at the end of the day it was not a good attempt, and trying to muscle somebody to take that over obviously backfired. Hence why he's back in the Fast universe. But at the end of the day, I do say I gotta give him. He took a shot. Try to get it. And if Black Adam would have worked, I would have been interested to see what would have happened.
All right, let's break. All right, so after seeing The Flash, Andy Muschietti got hired to do The Brave and the Bold. Nick, how you feel about it?
So we were talking about Flamin' Hot a minute ago, and there was a quote by Eva Longoria when she was promoting that movie, and she was talking about how women directors don't get the same, like, it's like say like if a woman directed a flop movie, that's like the end of her career, where guys get like multiple attempts. And I said that's very true. You look at Patty Jenkins,
Yeah.
and this is before The Flash even came out. You look at Patty Jenkins. Did Wonder Woman? Everybody loved Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman 1984 came out, and peak COVID. Yes, it was of course a financial flop. I always kind of got like the good feeling that that's not why they put it out. I was just like, look, let's put it out, make as much money as we can, give the people something new. And it got mixed reviews, let's say at best. And all her shit got canceled. Wonder Woman 3 got canceled. Her Star Wars movie has pretty much been canceled. Andy Muschietti, by all accounts, The Flash is a flop, financially at least. It is just not meeting whatever expectations. And he's already got his next job lined up.
And it's Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's arguably the
Batman.
biggest property Warner Brothers has.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird to me. That being said, all the Batman-related stuff in The Flash, like, kicked ass. It was pretty great. So, like...
Affleck and Keaton.
Yeah. Assuming it's going to be more of that, it'll probably be good. I kind of wish it would just be Ben Affleck. I kind of wish it would just be this Ben Affleck doing that, like Brave and the Bold with, like, Damian. That story, I think, would be really cool. I think Affleck is, like, that age where that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know who his Catwoman is. That would be cool. Also, why wasn't Michelle Pfeiffer in The Flash?
Facts.
It would have been cool.
Facts.
For no reason. It would have been cool then.
Also, Nick, you know, like you said, Patty Jenkins. You know, when they did the first Wonder Woman, I guess Zack Snyder was also, helping out producing on that. And a lot of people saying that, you know, when she came aboard, he helped with that a bit. That's why they say maybe Wonder Woman was good. And then she did it. But also, you got to remember, prior to even Wonder Woman, the last movie she worked on was Monster.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that got Charlize Theron an Academy Award. So, I mean, we know she can direct. And like you said it on the head, you know, this movie's flopping bad.
She was supposed to do Thor: The Dark World.
Supposed to do Thor: The Dark World. And wasn't there, like, creative differences? Like, she read the script and was like, this kind of sucks.
Something like that. I know Natalie Portman was pissed.
Like, wait, does this suck? Are y'all about to put out the worst Marvel movie? No, fuck you. You're fired.
Not as of now. As of now, it's like bottom 4.
Yeah. Anything. It may be the worst Thor movie, but, like, maybe not even.
It's not.
Maybe not even.
Taika Waititi. Props to you, good sir. You have the best Thor movie ever and the worst.
I like Love and Thunder.
Shut the fuck up, Nick.
For emotional stuff, like particularly in these movies.
No.
That's why I think, like, The Flash was good, but I think it was overshadowed by some of the more chaotic stuff. That's where I think Shazam! Fury of the Gods excelled. Was like, yeah, there's a lot of silly shit happening here, but, like, the heartfelt moments felt really genuine. When he was talking to his mom, he called her mom.
Yeah.
And they gave, and he turned back into a kid, he called her mom. I was like, okay, this is really working for me. I felt the same way with Thor. I was like, as much crazy shit is happening with the goats, and they're up in Olympus,
Fuck
doing
those
crazy
goats.
shit. The scene that I think of when I think of that movie is him talking to her on the hospital bed. And I'm like, see, they did something right there. They did say it's very sweet, very genuine chemistry. You don't get that from a lot of movies. So I'm like a Love and
And then
Thunder
she was
defender.
still like, fuck that shit. I'm going to fight Gore until I die.
I know, it's very sad. And she shows up, and it's sad because she's going to die. And then she does. And I was crying. I was like, okay, I really like this movie. But, like, The Flash didn't get me there. I wasn't crying in the supermarket. I felt it. But I wasn't, like, crying. I wasn't like, because I was like, he's tomatoes back. Like, I was like, this is weird.
I may have been watery-eyed.
I felt it. I felt the lump. and it was well acted. Again,
Yeah.
going back to Ed Miller.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of assumed like, oh, Ezra Miller can't carry a movie.
First off,
But he did.
the mom is Latin. She's not buying those tomatoes. She's buying Del Monte tomatoes, cans, and all that. So, I mean, come on.
And the actual tomato, chopping the shit up. And
That's a
making
fail. Andy Muschietti is also Hispanic. He should have known that. See, like, I'm assuming his Batman is going to be somewhere between mine and Eric's age, late 30s or old as fuck. Shout out Sigma Cinema. So Damien's gonna have to be somewhere between like 9 and 13. We got to get Italia, League of Shadows, and it's probably a good 4 years down the road. But I'm curious about the casting.
Just do Ben Affleck.
Pause.
I can't imagine like they're gonna do another one, and they don't see how this is just gonna like make it worse. It's like it might be good. It might be good.
The worse. When is the next like Matt Reeves the Batman? When does that one come out?
Next October, depending on I guess the writer's strike.
So let's say
or is it 25? I think it's 25.
Joker is supposed to come out next October.
After Superman Legacy. You're right. Yeah, Joker's next October.
Because
Batman 2 is the following October.
Talk about getting all confused and convoluted. Like, the writer's strike ain't doing anybody any favors by pushing stuff back. But there could be a possibility, and I don't see there's more people than me up in Warner Bros., but there could be a possibility where maybe the Batman, Matt Reeves comes out, and then the following year could be Batman. Like, that's a mess in its own right there.
Yeah.
It's too much. I loved the Batman. I thought it was great.
Oh, fantastic.
I think we can all agree it was just top tier Batman movie. It was really great.
My favorite movie last year.
Good. But it was just, why wouldn't you have harnessed that focus of making a great Batman movie into making it fit somewhere narratively that makes sense? It's just it's so silly, and I'm starting to like identify with the normies. I hate that. I hate them. And I'm like, I can understand why they would see the Flash poster and be like, fuck this. Just, I'm done. Fuck it. I just saw the Batman last year. Fuck it.
Going all the way back to Superman 2, though, like, Warner Brothers always fucks up a good thing. Always. Like, booting Richard Donner off of his Superman sequel. Listening to the Karens in 1992 bitch about how dark and sexualized Batman Returns was. While Batman Forever is not trash, Batman and Robin.
Trash.
Shockingly, y'all let Nolan do his own thing. I can't believe.
But that was the thing. Like, we need another one of those.
Yes.
Like Batman and Robin came out in 1997. I was 7.
Oh, you mean like the 8-year break?
Yes. We need, and nobody wants it. Nobody wants to admit that we need another one of those. Where it was like Batman Begins. I wasn't questioning at all whether it was a sequel to Batman and Robin. The word reboot was not being thrown around. It was just like, it's a new one. Yep. They're doing a new Batman. It was like, fucking finally. Jesus. Yeah. I'm like in high school at that point. I was like, fucking finally. A new Batman. Who cares if it's good? The fact that it was great was like my third expectation. I was just like, I want it to be cool. I want it to be like a new villain that we haven't seen. It's the Scarecrow and Ra's al Ghul. I was like, okay, great. Awesome. Fuck yeah. And it was like phenomenal. I was like, wait, I'm not used to this. People are forgetting the days where we were getting fewer superhero movies, but it was like after Spider-Man, maybe X-Men, but like a Spider-Man, X-Men, we started getting them a little more, and it was just the fact that we were getting them was what was cool. It was like, whether it was good was like my third or fourth concern. It was like, a fucking Daredevil movie? Are you kidding me? No fucking way is this happening. I wasn't like, it looks great. Of course it's going to be great to my 13-year-old mind. And it's like, now it's like, there has to be one every couple months. and we aren't stopping to think, like, do people really want that?
Yeah.
Have we tested out the theory that, like, if we wait and only do, like, maybe 2 a year, that, like, the people will be just as happy and maybe clamoring more for it, like, down the road? It's like we're about to have, like, fucking 4 Batmans. And, like, how many Jokers? And at least 2, 3 Harley Quinns if you count the TV show.
People can be all Batman out by the time the new Batman comes up. Because if you think about it too, look, the Elseworld stuff. Let's take the Joker and let's take Matt Reeves, the Batman. What makes those movies so great is, for the most part, they're more realistic. Let's take the Joker, for example. There are people that have, in the beginning of the movie, he gives that, the little boy is on the bus, he's laughing, the mom's saying, what are you laughing at? He gives him the card. He has a disability. He laughs, he just gets nervous. Like, in these times, that's how he expresses himself. Who's not saying someone doesn't snap and puts pain on? I mean, look at the world we live in now, okay? So that's more realistic. And if you think about that movie, towards the end, when he's going to go see Robert De Niro and be at the show, there's a scene where chaos is starting on the train and he gets off. The way he's walking, that's when he becomes the Joker. And if you notice, when he becomes a Joker, he's no longer laughing how he was in the beginning of the movie. Yeah. He now laughs when he has to. That's number one. And with the Batman, yes, it's a comic book. You got the Penguin, you got all, Catwoman. Yes, you got all that. But if you think about it in today's world, if somebody had money and was doing, that's the most realistic thing. It was raw. It was something that I could see somebody even trying doing now, dressing up that way, because it was raw, had that grind feel to it, and it's something that we can see right now somebody doing. And I think those aspects of, yes, they're comic book movies, but there was some realism to them.
Yeah.
Where people sometimes you could make a comic book movie and do what they did, right? Or you could take a comic book movie and do what TheFlash did. Now, like I said, TheFlash was still pretty good, but at the end of the day, is like Nick, you're saying, alluding to the Batman with DC, you just saw Keaton and Clooney. Okay? Now, and Affleck, you had 3 Batmans in one movie. Now, Pattinson's Batman came out a year ago. Now, with the writer's strike gets pushed back, now you're starting a new DC universe with a different Batman, and who knows when Batman 2, who's missing? Bale? If we could dig up Adam West, might as well throw him in there. Well, they did, if you think about it. I mean, the normies are going to be like, what the fuck's going on? Like, how many, who's who now? Which Batman is which one? Like, that's the problem is, with Nolan, you had your trilogy. There was a plan. You have your 3 movies. This is the deal. You do your trilogy, whatever. That's what they should have done with Snyder with Man of Steel from the get-go.
It should have been Cole. It should have somebody with him. Like, what are your thoughts?
Exactly.
He's doing this fucking apocalypse doomsday thing, and it's like, wow, that's a lot.
Storyline.
We do this. It should have been collaborative instead of additive.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's why actors and directors as producers in a shared universe, this doesn't really work.
No. It was combative. And it was like, it wasn't combative after Man of Steel. They're like, yeah, man, go cook, do your thing. They gave Batman vs. Superman, and it got mixed reactions at best. I loved it. I did not understand the mixtures, but in the theater, I was like, dude, this rules. This is awesome. Yeah. The Martha thing didn't bother me that much. I was just like, this is amazing. But it was like, instead of just analyzing what worked, what didn't work, what they should commit to, they didn't even stop to think, the biggest problem with this movie was that it needed $1 billion to break even, and it only did 800.
Mm-hmm.
All looked at it like a giant flop.
Yep.
It's $800 and some million. That is so many eyeballs on your movie.
This year is the chickens coming home to roost.
Yeah, fuck. And you were your answer was to cut Justice League in half, reshoot most of it, fucking ruined Suicide Squad. I don't know about that. Like, to me, like, the director's cut of Suicide Squad probably isn't drastically better. It's probably better, but I don't know. But it's just like there was no plan. And I say the same thing, so it doesn't sound biased or anything. I say the same thing with Star Wars. I'm the biggest Star Wars fan in the world.
Nick, you read my mind. I was just going to allude to that.
There was no plan with those sequels. It's amazing that they're even kind of good, much less as good as, like, at least the first two are.
Yeah.
To me. But there was no plan. It was just kind of like, new Star Wars, and that's it. Like, that's all they did.
And Nick, you read my mind. I was just going to allude to that because, look, I mean, the original trilogy, untouchable. But even the prequels, you can say what you want, whether you like them or hate them or whatever. They still had a plan.
There's a 3-movie narrative story.
This is what, there was a story. You know, Kathleen Kennedy comes on, the first one, way to start it off.
I love The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
It's whoever you brought in to direct the next two, they still should have been all right. You're coming in, but this is the game plan. This is the story. There was no story. It was like, you do what you want, you do what you want, you do what you want.
Was The Last Jedi always Rian Johnson? Because I know The Rise of Skywalker was originally Colin Trevorrow.
Yeah. Pick him up. Then they put Rian Johnson.
Yeah. But, like, not to get on a Star Wars tangent, but it was like The Last Jedi, I think a lot of people assumed that there was a plan. That's why it was so surprising to me, and a lot of the the controversial things that I fucking guessed. To me, I was like, wow, man, I did not see that coming. Wow, they really did things with these characters that I did not see coming. I have no idea where it's going next. And it turns out, like, neither did they.
Yeah.
Like, we have
I call The Last Jedi, that's for Star Wars or Halloween, it's the Halloween Kills of the Star Wars universe. Because if you think about it, when Halloween Kills came out, it wasn't good. Then you saw Halloween Ends, and like I told Randy, Halloween Kills just moved up my charts. That's The Last Jedi. People were killing The Last Jedi, and then when you saw The Rise of Skywalker, The Last The ain't that bad.
Was Jedi fucking great?
Was Rey hearing like all the past Jedis, the Flash multiverse moment?
Yep.
Kind of. It was a little less on the nose because it wasn't like, that's obviously Liam Neeson's voice. That's Freddie Prinze Jr. from Rebels' voice. It was just kind of a lot of voices. The Flash, to me, was just so, like, in your face, like, and pause for clapping.
Yeah.
And pause for everyone knows what that means.
When instead of when instead of digging up the dead guys, they could have just been like, "Hey, Ryan Reynolds, what's up?" Like 500,000 Green Lantern.
And it would have made just as much no sense as this made. Because there hasn't been a Green Lantern in this universe yet, really, other than the Snyder Cut, like Justice League, very briefly, like in that flashback sequence.
Yeah.
You see Lantern as like helping them fight.
Yeah. Either Steppenwolf or Darkseid like mentions lanterns.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. Like, it was just so very blatant, like, pause for clapping. Spider-Verse didn't do that. It's like the little things where you see Tobey Maguire, the little thing where you see Andrew Garfield, they weren't like, and hold for you recognize.
It's like,
it was part of the narrative.
Super Mario Brothers and Spider-Verse this year has perfect fan service.
Yes.
But yeah, like the Flash and maybe just the Flash, I don't know. Flash like wanted you like let's hold so you recognize these people.
Yeah, clap because you know that thing. Clap because you know that thing. And it's like, yeah. Oh, who's that? That's his Supergirl. Okay, yeah. And it's like, y'all didn't watch fucking Supergirl. Like, you didn't watch fuck yourself. And it's like, clap because you see the thing. That's Adam West. Clap for history. And it's like,
yeah.
No. That's why, like, Michael Keaton, they had to shift the marketing to be more about Michael Keaton. They had to do it. I kind of get it.
We try not to die.
But a lot of, like, my niece doesn't know what that means. To me, She's like, okay, cool, yeah, it's old Batman. I'm like, no, that is the Batman.
The Batman.
That is, yep.
It's like, that doesn't mean anything to an entire generation of moviegoers. That's okay. It's not really their fault. But it's like Tobey Maguire, it wasn't that long ago that he was Spider-Man. A lot of these kids grew up with that.
Younger kids did not want to get nuts.
Yeah.
Nope.
We're seeing, Andrew Garfield when they were like, middle to teenage years. And so now they get to it, and it's like, wow, that's awesome. They weren't watching Michael Keaton. They probably weren't even watching George Clooney. Like, they were probably watching Christian Bale, because that is the equivalent of doing Tobey Maguire now.
Yep.
And how old we all are.
Bale just reads that end scene, pulls up car, gets out of car. Fuck no, this is rubbish.
It's cool. He always looked cool, like speeding up in the car and then getting out, like in his suits. Like Christian Bale's my favorite Bruce Wayne, which is controversial. He's my favorite Bruce Wayne because he acts so different as Bruce Wayne versus his Batman. Michael Keaton is my favorite all around, but like sometimes you pick like who's the best at this, who's the best at this. Like, you could say like Ben Affleck is the best Batman. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you. Like everything he does as Batman is like great as Batman.
I like those shoes.
Mind over him as Bruce Wayne, but we haven't gotten to see him like do the Bruce Wayne thing that much.
Yeah.
Christian Bale, you got to see him do it a lot.
Yeah.
He was a dickhead. Like you would be like, there's no way that guy is Batman. Like that guy sucks. Like he's like the Donald Trump of, and that's like what, that's what you need. So him getting out of the car would have been cool because it'd been like, oh shit. But it also, I think that would have blasted questions. Like people would be like, wait, what the fuck? Does that mean they're doing another one? And I would be like, yes, I'm also interested in knowing if they're going to do another one with Christian Bale.
So my thing is, this is like, it sounds like
final thoughts. Let's wrap it up.
No,
it's pretty much of like, it sounds like we're shitting on the Flash. We're not. It's just
dude. It's just like
I am.
My bad. I don't want to cut you off, but it was just like what did we just talk about like 2 or 3 episodes ago? Fucking Fast X. It sounded like we were destroying that movie the whole episode, but we all enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I enjoyed. Like I said, I gave it 7 out of 10. I just wish I gave it that. I mean, some of the CGI, I get it. Muschietti said it was a stylistic thing. Great, but you already know how people are.
Yeah. I'm not killing a whole movie over some bad effects.
Yeah. So
I think some of it stylistic, not all of it.
Not all of it.
Yeah, I agree.
It look weird.
I agree. Like the ending of it with like the Nicolas Cage, like the ending part, yeah, stylistic. Some of the other stuff was a little wonky, but I enjoyed it. I just gave it that grade because, you're hearing the hype of it, and not only the hype, I leave the expectations at the door because I got to make my own decision on it. But at the end of the day, this is supposed to be a reboot. And to me, nothing got rebooted. The only thing that changed was at the end of the day by, Barry, like Randy said, moving the tomato cans from the bottom shelf to the top shelf, was that he got his dad off and out of jail, and now Clooney is the Batman in that world. That's the only thing that changed. If you think about it, nothing got rebooted. Everybody else is back, and there is, when he went back to his timeline, everything was still technically Superman is still Henry Cavill, even though we don't see it. Gal Gadot, everybody is who they are except Batman. And when he went back to his timeline, so if that's all you're talking about, that this is going to reboot, it didn't reboot anything for me because I'm expecting this to technically kick off into what we're going to be expecting down the road in 2025. And it never did that for me.
In Blue Beetle, when George Lopez calls Batman a fascist, I'm going to be very interested to know which Batman he's talking about, even though they'll never say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's the only time we will see Batman in that movie. There will be no Supergirl. That poor girl is like doing all this press, talking about like, I can't wait to do it again, and I've had conversations. It's like, babe, You're not paying Supergirl again. I wish you would.
You
I
bet.
hope so.
Yeah,
I
it's
hope
like
so.
I feel like I feel like James Gunn's Supergirl is gonna be like the cute blonde. He might even take Aquaman back to like the high and tight blonde guy. But all his characters are gonna look different.
Remember like Entourage when like it was a joke that Vince was playing
Aquaman, yeah.
That would never happen. It's like Aquaman is the highest grossing DC movie of all time.
Beat Spider-Man.
It's just bad.
They can't explain that, and so it's like they're behaving exactly like a studio that like cannot explain their own hits. Like, because I can't. I'm like, why the fuck did that movie make more than The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight?
Yeah.
Like your holy grail and your Mount Rushmore of characters in DC is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. In any order. That is your holy grail, and you have Aquaman being the $1 billion movie.
And it came out after Justice League, which was a notable flop.
And the funny thing about it, too, if you think about it, you still had a Wonder Woman movie. You had two of those. At least you got a Batman movie. I mean, a Superman movie. But there was no solo Batman movie, which I think was a disservice to Ben Affleck.
Hell yeah.
And they kept trying to be like, we're not going to make the same things that Marvel's doing. It's like, it's like Breaking Bad. Do it. Just do it. Give the Flash a movie first. You can put the little Easter eggs like the Flash being in Suicide Squad's cute little wink, like, oh yeah, he exists already. We know what we're doing. Then give him his movie. Don't wait.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, or at least do it cool. Like, do the Snyder Justice League and have that pay off to something. And it's like, no.
Well, the funny thing is, Nick, you said it too. They did the little Easter eggs in the first Shazam. Remember when they go into the bedroom? You know when what's his name goes up there? I can't remember the names now. But he opens up his drawer. You got the Batwing boomerang that he bought or whatever, or I don't know if he got it like on eBay or something, where they had little Easter eggs that Batman existed in that world. You didn't show it, but that was it. You know what I mean? That's all you need.
And they abandoned that like quick.
Yeah.
It's very sad. The Supergirl's hot. That's my final thought. Just absolute smoke show. Awesome in the role. I hope she gets to do it more. I hope they move her over. Give her like God.
Well,
that's my big takeaway.
That's what we close on. I'll be back. Finish this episode up. Next episode, we're gonna do the third quarter preview. So, do your homework, ladies. It's Rec League. Hey yo, getting sick of bitches and they intentions. These lyrical inventions keeping me from crackhead itches. These writtens that I be spitting be hitting. Y'all can't make no decisions without permissions. Other teams need a wheelchair, Indiana got a walker. Tell your side of history and events get altered. You saying that you watching, homie, just admit that you a stalker. You finna to catch a case, you better have a well-paid lawyer. Just an observation, but y'all lack the fundamentals. Y'all credentials expose that you inexperienced using pencils. This shit is simple. How y'all biting, the only accurate record is the dentals. Stay stunting for the socials, don't forget to return the rentals. My name is Randy. Well-known prick, steady talking shit. Only time you cross the line is when you taking back a brick. Embellish all that capping just to get your ass a click. Can't keep it real with yourself, too busy trying to ride a dick. And chill until the next episode.